Welcome to episode 37 of the Career Breakthrough Series. I'm your host, Paul Ames, and if you haven't already, please don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review by hitting the bottom at the bottom right of the screen now to stay up to date with incredible guests like Daniel that are going to help you break through those barriers in your career. So, my guest today, Daniel Wallock, is a heart condition survivor, a marketer, and a published author. Daniel's done projects with over 50 companies, including BMW iVentures, the American Heart Association, Amazon Studios, Girls Inc., and Sarah Lawrence College. Daniel has been interviewed in the Huffington Post, Forbes, the Next Web, and he's also appeared on the LA Times and Yahoo News. In the past 12 months, Daniel has helped successfully market Perseus Mirrors and 1X, which are two viral crowdfunding campaigns which have achieved over $100,000 in crowdfunding. Daniel's journey started with being born with dextrocardia, a congenital heart condition where the heart points to the right side of the chest instead of to the left. He was also born with 6 other congenital heart conditions, which have also required him to undergo multiple open heart surgeries. Daniel is such a driven and motivated person, and I'm so excited I got an opportunity to share his story and his incredible resilience. So let's get started on the interview. So most people go through life not really struggling with really bad things in their life. My guest today had a congenital heart condition from birth and has had many multiple open heart surgeries. Most people would really let that impact them and stop them getting to where they want to be. It makes such a detrimental effect on your life. But Daniel Wallock has made such an incredible life for himself at such a young age. So Daniel was recently nominated as the top 8 content marketer by Inc. magazine. So Daniel started his business while he's currently at college as well. He's worked with over 50 incredible companies like BMW iVentures and helped to facilitate 2 crowdfunding campaigns, which have generated over $100,000. Daniel, I'm so excited to have you on my show and be able to share your journey and message. And man, I just wanted to say you should be so proud of yourself for everything you've achieved so far.
Yeah, no, I'm really happy to be here, and about all the stuff that's happening. I'm just really lucky for my life, and I think that I couldn't help but work the way I do. So I really like marketing, and so I can't help but do it. I do it all the time. I can't stop.
Yeah, exactly. I know off camera we are just saying how you've got day after day you've been up till 4 or 5 in the morning working on some of these clients' projects as well as starting college tomorrow. So man, that's massive hats off for the work ethic and the incredible work that you do.
Yeah, no, I mean, what's weird too is I think I really can't tell what motivates other people, but I've just always loved there's this feeling where you're building something and other people like it, and they really, it started for me with websites, and I used to build these game sites that other kids online could play games on. Oh, and cool. So I built them because I wanted to play games. And then I was like, oh my God, other people want to spend time on these websites.
Yep. Oh man, that's awesome. So Daniel, I'd love to know exactly what were some of your biggest motivations and some of your positive influences on your journey of where you are now growing up. What do you think helped influence your journey into this path?
Yeah, it's a really hard question to answer because I think that I was led to marketing on accident, you could say. I spent a lot of the time, a lot of my childhood in and out of hospitals. And when I had a surgery at about 13, wow. It was an open heart surgery, and I knew about the surgery for about a year before I had it. And I remember during recovery, I was already doing web stuff before that for a few years, but that's when, during that recovery period and during those times, I spent hours and hours and hours reading Neil Patel and some of these other guys and really immersing myself in their content.
That's perfect, man. Yeah, Neil Patel is incredible, man. He's a brilliant author. So yeah, I'd love to find out. Obviously, you've gone through your incredible share of tough times and limiting beliefs and negative thoughts and things that have happened. But what would you say would be some of the biggest roadblocks or obstacles that you've had to overcome to get where you currently are?
Yeah, I think the picture of where I am now is really different than what things have been actually like. My parents and I, a while ago, they're saying, you love your life right now. You've really loved it for the past 2 years. For the first 18, 17 years of your life, you're forgetting you were absolutely miserable. Yeah. And I was miserable because I thought I was going to die. And I was scared, and I felt really alone in that. So, marketing happens to be the thing that connects me to other people now.
Definitely.
But before marketing and before this type of dialogue, even being on an interview, my life was really different. It was a health crisis all the time.
Yeah, definitely. I can't even imagine what the difficulties you went through, and obviously that in and out of hospital consuming your whole life. That'd be so tough. Like I said, man, it's a hats off, and it's incredible what you've achieved. I mean, most people I think would just let that overwhelm them and not achieve the things that you've achieved, like, having to be limited in what you can do, and you're limited in your capabilities. So yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, I just think it's a side note almost, but like what I think has been from an achievement standpoint, or like doing something, I think that necessarily other people could do the same thing. There's nothing really special, but I think what's going on is I don't go on Facebook or email or whatever it might be and sell people on things. I'm not a salesman.
Yep.
What I do is I look for places where I can help people.
Yeah.
And if I can help them, I've pitched over 1,000 clients at this point, but I've only worked with maybe 50 to 75, or maybe 75-ish. I don't actually know. I should look at that. But yeah, it's because I reject clients. I rejected a ton of clients because if I can't clearly help them, or I don't think I clearly can, then it wasn't going to be worth my time.
Wow, that's amazing, man. It's so true. And I feel like I do exactly the same with a lot of my business as well. Now, I'm not a really pushy salesperson. I find that I can convert people easy on the phone just because I care about their career. I know what they've gone through. I can relate to them a lot of things. So I'd love to just touch on that, actually. So obviously BMW iVentures was one of your clients. So you've done project work with them. That's incredible. How did you actually secure the work with BMW iVentures?
So yeah, I should dissuade whatever there might be there. So I received mentorship at BMW iVentures.
Yep.
It's not that they weren't a client. I don't know what to call it, but I would really call it a project in which I went to BMW I and I sent them an email and said, I think I have something that would be interest to you, and I don't really want to talk about what that is, because then everyone will email them. But and then I got to build a relationship with one of the people who's running the fund, and what I got to do was, I can't even talk about like anything, but what I did is I basically saw a problem in a mass market and said, I think that of all the companies I could help with this problem is BMW. And so not only did I help them with the problem, with a project, but I would call it more a mentorship opportunity, just because I did learn so much from them. And that was the most exciting part. I'm the one who volunteered. Then I saw this opportunity, for example.
Yeah, definitely. And I completely respect that. I think that's incredible to be able to get mentorship from them. So in saying that, what do you think would be some of the biggest things that you learnt from being in there or helping them with that project? What do you think are some of the biggest tools and things that you've walked away with that have helped you progress in your career?
Well, I'd say just to stay away from them a little bit. Overall, if it's going to be a cold email, if it's going to be a cold contact, people want to help you.
Yep.
But they don't want to help you if you ask for help immediately. And what I mean is they want to bet on young people. I mean, what's going on is if you go and consistently add value, what I did is I said, hey, I see a huge problem that's hurting this industry, and I have built something that can help you. And so I did something similar with some of these other guys in marketing. I am a nobody. Everyone's like, where did you come out of? Like, nobody's heard of me before. But in the last 3 months, I've got contacted or connected or contacted with, I'd say 5, 10, 15, way more than 10. But some of the best marketers in the world just by engaging with their content.
Definitely. That's so true. And it shows the power of content marketing and just engaging with people in a genuine and open space. I think that's the biggest thing people can take away. So I know how much you love writing as well, Daniel. I love writing too. So obviously my career podcast is tailored towards people trying to progress in their career. So what advice would you give people if they wanted to create content that's going to help them stand out or help them build a bit of a personal brand for themselves? What do you think some of the best things that you've done personally that have really helped you with that field?
Yeah, so I'll just mention some side notes and then talk about how it can relate to having your own brand.
Yeah,
so recently I was Facebook verified and Twitter verified, and I've had some press and things like that. And, that's helpful. or whatever to make you look like you have a brand. But what's more important than being Facebook verified or having a PR piece, what's more important than any of that is actually writing things that are really valuable and demonstrate you're really good at what you're talking about. So if you are a marketer, that's content marketing. If you're a graphic designer, you could do a whole mock-up of the UX of some system that you really like and redesign it. There's so many ways to demonstrate your expertise with content that doesn't have to be, and this isn't something where you say, oh, I know this is going to get me hired. I know it's going to sell. You say, okay, how can I show people that I'm really good at this? And how can I do something that they'll see and find value in, and maybe even it will help their company with something?
Yeah, that's brilliant.
It's like adding a free consult without even getting on the phone.
Exactly. That's brilliant advice, man. I think so many people neglect that fact. I think the way the world's, everyone's just so focused on me, forward, up. And, by adding that value and demonstrating, I love how that was a great point you just said, how you said, trying to position yourself as an expert and position yourself as a person who's got a lot of knowledge and is great at what they do. I think that's what should come first, because that's what's really going to showcase who you are and what you're about.
Yeah, and I also want to touch that content creation is hard, but what's harder is going to go cold pitch. Content converts leads because it's built a relationship and rapport, not a relationship, but it's beginning the relationship before you open your mouth. And what's important is, or to tell you a little bit about what I'm doing right now, I spent the whole day today, 8 hours, going back and forth with a few other marketers via email, building content to build authority and to show that I actually, because in a world full of influencers, how can you demonstrate that you know what you're doing? And for me, that's going to be, I'm going to do a live case study of driving, let's say, 100K leads a month to a brand new website or whatever it might be. But the idea is to demonstrate something irrefutably valuable.
Definitely. And having that something tangible as well, I think that's such a big factor as well. So by doing that, having that little project like that, I think that's incredible. If you can, drive 100K worth of leads to a website, people are just going to go, wow, this guy really does know what he's doing, and it's tangible, and we've actually witnessed it live. So what more could you possibly want?
Yes, that's you get it exactly. And I mean, I literally spent the whole day preparing a video to launch talking about it. And I don't know exactly whether that's going to be my goal. But I've done things like this before, so it's not something in which there's a mountain. I see how to pretty much systematically do that. So I'm not worried. I'm excited. But the idea is, it's because I've done this so long that I know I can demonstrate that skill.
Definitely. So Daniel, I know all of us have got this really positive trait or positive habit that's really helped us achieve the success that we've currently got in our life. We've also got a hindering habit or trait. What do you think would be your biggest positive trait that you've currently got or that's helped you achieve your success? And what do you think would be your biggest hindering habit?
That's a great question. In terms of the positive trait, that I don't know if this would continue success, but it just makes my life good. I go out to sushi all the time. I love sushi. And I mentioned this on another podcast, and the guy has never heard that before. He's like, no guest has ever said anything like that.
No, I've never heard it. That's awesome.
Yeah, but that's everyone has their oh, that's their thing. I go to sushi 3 times a week or 4 times.
Oh man, that's heaven.
And when things are going well and I'm just doing consulting, I might go 5 times a week, but in terms of a hindering habit, that's really hard. I'd say that it's not a habit, but just juggling or having to juggle, being a student and trying to learn writing. And I think what people neglect is the fact that if you want to be good at what you do, you have to spend almost all your time learning about that thing. So I spend so much time learning that I'll forget to do, let's say, the schoolwork. But it's okay. Hopefully I'll graduate this year. But yeah, it's not really a hindering habit. It's just I'm so obsessed I can't really stop. Yeah, it's good and it's bad. It just gets in the way of other things. Yeah.
No, that's so true. And I think sometimes all of us are on that path where we struggle to juggle everything, or just there's too much going on. We become so obsessed with what we're doing and so laser focused on that one thing that we go, oh wait, I forgot I've got to do this, or I've got my family to look after. Or, yeah, it definitely becomes
that's exactly it.
I love the sushi answer as well. I think that's brilliant. I absolutely love sushi. So I'm glad that you said that. I'm like, yes, someone else that absolutely could eat sushi every day. So that's brilliant.
Everyone says they're like, so people tell me a few things. They say, one, you're going to get mercury poisoning. Two, I hear that like all the time. Like, you're going to get, and I'm like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
But then everyone else says you need to start an agency. And so I've been saying this on podcasts too recently because like people are going to tell you, just for me at least, tell you what they think the best move is for your career. Yeah. And I don't think that that's the best move, whatever they're going to like generally we know intuitively. I've always known that eventually I would spend some time building a personal brand. And since I've looked up to Neil Patel all my life, I knew that I'd want to do a public case study.
Yep.
And so that's not me listening and saying, I'll start an agency while I'm in college, and I already have like, wow, this is bad, like 5 assistants or something. And so to try to scale would ruin my life or like it'd make it very difficult.
Yeah, definitely. No, that's true. I think that's a key takeaway as well. And that's something I always preach as well to people in their career is, don't always listen to the influence and opinions of others. It's just such a thing that's going to hold you back or send you down a path that they want to live or they haven't lived out for their life. So yeah, I think that's some great advice there, man.
Yeah. And if, I just thought of this because I was thinking, how can I give your listeners something to help them and that's tangible and free and valuable? So I have 2 links that I'm building. One's how to hire a great marketer and the other one's how to be a great marketer. And then there's one, how to do online marketing. They're free Google Docs sheets. There's no lead captures, no webinars, no ridiculous sales stuff. It's just value. So I'll send you those and you can put them in the show notes or something. Yeah. But I was like sitting here, I'm like, what can I do to make these listeners' lives A+?
Oh man, I think already sharing what you've shared is really benefited and impacted everyone's life. It's amazing the feedback you get. It's one of the reasons why I love doing podcasts so much. The feedback you get from people saying, little emails or messages saying that, this has really helped change their life. I've never heard such a story like that. So I'm sure your story and your journey, man, are going to inspire a lot of people. So
that's wonderful. I'm glad. I just want to know, and I think the reason I'm doing the case study to talk a little bit about that is because I want to know that I'm really delivering. And so in the same way that you're looking to have a career and you're looking for something that you are going to feel like you have a lot of meaning in, you can make money and once you're good at doing something and they'll want to hire you. Yeah. But what does it mean to help other people? I have students who I teach for free because it makes me a better marketer and it makes my life richer.
So Daniel, I've got a bit of a random question. I love to throw at all of my guests. It's from a style of solution-focused therapy, so obviously coming from my career counseling background. So it's called the miracle question. So imagine if you went to sleep tonight and overnight a miracle had occurred. When you woke up the next day, everything you ever wanted or everything you ever wanted to impact in your life had come true. There were no financial roadblocks and no mental roadblocks holding you back. What would be that number one impact you'd want to make on the world, and why would it be so important to you?
First, I wouldn't want that to happen because I'm having a really good time. Second, no, seriously, I love the part where it's difficult, and I love the part where you see growth.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be like, okay, this was not as fun as I thought. But in terms of if that were to happen, I just want to be able to know that what I'm doing, and so that's part of the reason that I don't see myself waking up to that. I want to know that other people are really benefiting from my content and my interviews, and my clients are seeing a return on investment and feeling happy about what I'm doing for their strategy, for example. So it's really hard to answer because everyone has a goal. I don't really have a goal. All I ever wanted was just to make sure that I could give to people.
Definitely. Man, that's amazing. And I love that answer. I really respect that. I think that's brilliant. So yeah, that's I'd also love to touch on what do you think would be like 3 to 5 actionable tips or some of the best advice or things that you've learned that could really benefit my audience in their career?
Yeah, so great. There's a few things. If you're not using the following 3 things to sell yourself for a career opportunity or get in front of someone or whatever it might be, I would suggest using them. That's what I inevitably use. So there's 3 things businesses look for. Can you make them more money? Can you save them a ton of time? Or can you save them a ton of money?
Yep.
And so those are 3 quick things that you can think about. And you say, okay, what do I do that adds significant value? Because at the end of the day, they are businesses, and of course they're buying who they know and things like that. But the reason I consistently have work and I get inbound leads is because I sell making other people money. I mean, that's not really what I sell, right? You know, marketing services and done well, you're basically selling revenue growth.
Definitely.
That's just a fancy word for making someone more money.
Yeah.
But so yeah, think about that in your job prospect opportunities, and then also just what does it look like to be a more valuable individual. And then the other, I guess it's the second one, is nurturing. You know, you can send out your job application on LinkedIn and on Indeed, but I mean, I'm sort of serious. No one cares. Like, I'm not going to say no one's going to read your application, but no one's going to read your application. I guess I am. Yeah. And what I mean to say is, like, the people who get jobs and the people who are going after this, there's someone who's emailing them. There's someone who's showing up to their event. There's someone who has read their book or seen their products or gone to their events and is doing more than you. And, you know, I'm not going to say they are the one to get the job, but you need to nurture leads far more than you think you do. Relationships take time. You don't want to sell anything in the first 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And you can have multiple leads or job opportunities in the funnel, but you got to treat them as relationships. You're nurturing them, because what's it like to say, okay, after you know, spending $25,000 to try to find this hire, we hired the wrong person. Or, you know, we're going to give $70,000 and they're going to quit within the first 3 months.
Oh, that's great advice, man.
Wow, that was a lot.
No, that's brilliant, and it's so true. Like, I think also similar along those lines, a lot of people aren't persistent enough and they're not relentless. They don't think outside the box. So I found that that's the biggest way, especially with starting. For me, I can relate mainly my career, but also a lot of it was with my podcast interviews where I started off, I had no influence, I had no guests, I had nothing on my show. I was starting fresh. Like, all of us start from the bottom. I think key thing, we all start from somewhere. So I know I'm persistent and relentless, and I'll find a way to get somebody on my show. Like, I'm actually trying to get Barack Obama on the show now. I've got an email back from them.
I saw that, yeah.
So, and I did that with Grant Cardone. Like, I was relentless in chasing him up. I knew what he was like. He responds to his own emails, which is awesome. But I sent a book to his office, Connecting with Influencers, and left a note saying, Grant, you might as well agree to come on my show, because I'm not going to give up until you do. And I got back when he was ready to launch his book, and he booked in on the show after only 7 episodes of me starting. So, you know, I'm...
What? Yeah. That is amazing. Okay, whoa. That's a case study story. So these are the things I love, because they're real life examples, irrefutable value. You just demonstrated with everything you said the exact way to get to, like, somebody who's incredibly important. Yeah.
And I think like, for me, sorry to interrupt, man, I think like the biggest the biggest thing I've learned is how I was raised. I've said this before in interviews, I treat everyone the same. I don't care how much money, how much status or whatever people have. To me, people are people, and I talk to them and connect with them like anybody else, like I would if I talked to Barack Obama or if I talked to anyone. They're just people to me, and I think they have an interesting and amazing story that I want to share and find out about. So that's another thing. I don't put people on pedestals. So
no, I'd say that's also perfect. So I had an experience with somebody who's now someone who I feel they serve in some type of mentorship role to me, where I sent an email to them, and this was a while ago, so it's a long time ago, but I sent an email to them where I fangirled them. Like, I really fangirled them. And I'm not going to suggest against doing that, but I really think that when you think about who they are and what they're doing, you want to send a very short email that demonstrates that you've known about them for a while. Definitely. And that you know what they like, you know what they're interested in, you know their recent topics, but you don't, I'm not going to say don't fangirl them. You can do a little bit of that. Yeah. I recently sent a message on Facebook that said, I'm not going to fangirl you, but I just wanted to let you know I like your content.
That's awesome.
And I was like, okay, that was like the perfect message. Yeah. He loved it too, the guy.
Definitely, man. I think it's a fine line. Like, I completely agree with you. I think there's a line where you need to show that you know about their content and value. Like when I also got Naomi Simpson, who's one of the sharks from Shark Tank Australia here. Yeah,
crazy.
so initially I got rejected by her VA and her executive assistant last year in December. But I saw an ad pop up for one of her Facebook groups a few months ago. So I joined the group, started adding value into it or commenting on things. And then I just went, you know what? I'm going to create a custom pitch video. So I created a video, uploaded it into the site, into the Facebook group, and basically told her, because I love her book, pitched her saying that I love her book, broke down why I've got so much value and my clients have got her. She responded and straight away booked me in through her agent. So
that is awesome. See, this is I'm so thrilled right now because the thing I'm really trying to go after and everything I talk about right now is the fact that if you show that story you just told and the live example of doing it, it's just irrefutable. It's just so valuable.
Yeah.
So when you think about career content for your listeners, if you are creating content that you want for a very specific job, how can you add value and reference that company and show that you're interested in that field and know what's going on? So imagine you walk into that interview and you know some of the problems they're having really, really detailed. And you can say, okay, so I've already thought about this and I have contacts at blank, 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 and blank.
Yeah.
It's just really hard to not have a really productive conversation when that happens.
Definitely. And I think that's so true. I've actually witnessed that. I've been on the interviewing panel for quite a few positions in the past. And I've actually seen the people that stand out are the charismatic people. People who come in there with a lot of energy. You can feel their energy coming off of them. They kind of brighten up the whole room.
Wow.
But also the people that come in there and do exactly what you've just said. Where I remember someone came into a job and they had a plan of things that we were doing and where we could improve, where the gaps are in what we're doing. And I was like, wow, this is pretty incredible. And it was a detailed plan and map.
Wow.
And they actually got the job because of that. So,
yeah, that's exactly it. That's wonderful.
Yeah. So it's true, man. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, the results speak for themselves. And if it works there, and I think it's interesting because what I'm giving is I've never interviewed for a job, but I've pitched over 1,000 clients. Yeah. I've been doing this process for a very long time. And I know that when I get on a call or I'm going through a process with a client where I send a document that's very specific to them or an email, it works pretty well. I think it's a very similar sales cycle.
Definitely. So, Daniel, I'd love to find out, what are some of the things you're most excited about in your business coming up, or what are you currently what's currently got you lit up?
Yeah, no, I talked about the case study thing, but really when I look at moving forward, the future of the internet and the future of marketing, is all about video. If you're not doing video, it's just crazy. It's so effective. It's just ridiculous. And especially for B2B. So I'm specifically really talking about person-to-person relationships. So this would be great for career-oriented folks on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is just rolling out video. You've probably seen it all over. But yeah, I just wrote an article on this, and I'm just excited because I want to be part of that. And I think what's really special about video is you have the chance to build a relationship with your audience. Once again, like I said earlier, you don't have to get on the phone with them yet. You don't have to ask them for an email. You don't have to get them on a webinar or sell them a $69 template for some random thing. What you can do is just help people, and then if they think you're good at what you do, they can decide to contact you.
Yep, exactly, man. That's so true. And I think one of the biggest things I've learned, which I guess to start with when you start off in your business or your career journey, especially with your business, is you don't realize how many people are watching behind the scenes on your posts, or how many people are building that long-term value. And it took me a long time to get used to, because I'm quite a tangible results focused person. So, my mentality was, I'm putting in the work. Why isn't this happening? Why isn't this taking off? Why is this taking so long? But, you realize that these people comment or start saying things, and they're like, or they'll send you a message, and you just go, wow, people are actually watching behind the scenes. I think so many people don't actually realize the long-term value add that it takes with some people. I think, what was it, 7 points of connection before, minimum of 7 points connection till you make a sale or something like that?
Yeah, no, you're completely right. I don't know the statistic, but I remember reading it takes HubSpot sales statistics. I believe it was 5, on average, the sale takes 5 follow-up calls. And for me, that's not the case, but it's because I've built a lot of rapport.
Yeah.
But I remember when I am selling a bigger deal, For example, I might do a 1-month consultancy or 2-month consultancy. In that time, we've definitely had 5 calls. You know what I'm saying? You've built the rapport. So when you put that proposal down, it's not really a question, at least for me, whether they're going to take the deal. It's a question of which of the packages, because we've already really identified what problem, if we've been talking for a month and keeping that relationship going, that we're looking to solve. And I've qualified enough and they've qualified enough.
Yeah, so true, man. So Daniel, just getting ready to wrap up soon, man. And I've completely appreciated your time. You've shared some incredible insights and some incredible knowledge there that I'm sure have one, helped me a lot. I've got a lot of good takeaways away from your interview, which is good.
I'm glad.
I'd just love to know, is there any parting advice you feel has really been beneficial to helping you achieve the success that you have? Is there anything you feel that could really help people stand out?
Yeah, I think my message and the thing I just keep talking about is adding value to other people and helping them. And, I did this for 7 or 8 years before I really had any type of results. And not to say I wasn't producing results in that time, but let's say 5.5 years in, 6 years in, I started to get clients and do it for other people and really look to expand upon that. And I'm not saying it should take you that long, anything like that, but everyone wants to get rich overnight or have something happen, but building rapport and nurturing relationships takes an incredible amount of time and effort. And I think moving forward, the number one thing I'd say is if you're looking for a mentor, if you're looking to get a feature in a magazine or build relationships with press or clients or get a job, expect that this is not a short game, because the short game you will lose almost every time, in my opinion. So be willing to wait it out.
That's brilliant. Yeah, it's true. You got to be in it for the long game. And to start with, depending on what personality type a lot of people have, like I know myself, like I was saying, I'm impulsive and I like tangible results. So, I've had to really adapt my mindset and mentality to go, Paul, you're playing the longer game. Like, you're building relationships. That's what you're good at, playing to your strengths and just keep utilizing that. And it pays off. There's some incredible things happening now, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah, no, exactly. And, I'd even say right now, the people who say, Daniel, you should build an agency, if I could translate what they're saying you have an opportunity right now to make a lot of money very quickly and drop out of college.
Yep.
But that's not really that effective in terms of providing the most value necessary to my clients. No. What if I spent 3 more years learning marketing so that when I became the consultant and did the agency, I was even better than I am now?
Yeah, that's a brilliant mindset, man, too. And it's true, like people are looking at the short-term gains, not the long-term results and benefits, like you just said. So, Daniel, thank you again for agreeing to come on the show, man. It's been an awesome interview. I've really loved chatting with you and getting to find out more about your journey and experiences you've gone through. And, yeah, massive congrats for everything, man. It's brilliant. I can only see you going up and up from here, man.
Thanks.
So if there's is there any way for my audience to reach out to you? Say if there's any business owners or people looking to smash into their marketing and take it to a great new level, what would be the best ways to reach out to you?
Yeah, I have a website, so it's danielwallock.com, as well as I think it's a little non-traditional, but I think the lines are being a little bit blurred right now. And so I've actually opened up my personal Facebook as a public profile, and so I'm gathering followers, and I engage pretty readily with anyone who comments on my content. So if you need help with a marketing question or you need really anything, feel free to comment on my personal Facebook. That is Daniel Wallock on Facebook. There's a little verified check mark. The other one that's not verified is a business page, but you can just go straight to the personal.
That's brilliant. Daniel, thank you again, man. It's been an incredible journey and experience that you've shared with us. So I really appreciate your time, man.
Yeah, this was wonderful. Thank you so much.
Anytime at all, man. And guys, stay tuned next week. We've got another incredible guest like Daniel on the show. He's really going to help you smash through those barriers in your career. So stay tuned then.